guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to the very first episode of my channel, Riddhi Toshniwal. Hey guys, meet me. I'm your host, Riddhi Toshniwal. And the guest for today's episode, the first episode on the channel, is going to be Master Chandan Perla, a 19-year-old who's currently pursuing his education in Christ University, Bangalore. Chandan loves talking to people and interacting with everyone around. Also, Chandan holds a podcast channel named High on Tranquility in Spotify and other podcast platforms, the link of which I'll be dropping in the description. So, without further delaying it, let's get into the main topic of this episode. So, hi Chandan, welcome to our episode, the first guest. How are you feeling being here?
Hello, Riddhi. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Thanks for inviting me.
Great. So, can you just share what have you been doing in this lockdown? How did you spend your lockdown?
Well, there are multiple things that I've been working on, but there are way many things that are coming up. Especially one good thing. I mean, one of those things which I have been procrastinating for a very long time, and then once I got it started and going great, is the podcast. So the name of the podcast is High on Tranquility. It's available on all the streaming platforms, including the Apple Podcasts and way many. Yeah. So one is that, and when it comes to other things, especially I've been doing a lot of like the reality checks. Especially number one, the way things that are perceived completely changes from place to place. So the way where we are going to bridge the gap and show the people what reality is one of those projects which are now South India's biggest fest and probably going to be India's biggest fest very soon. And that's Your Champ, if you might be knowing. And more importantly, there is another new segment and a new venture that I'm going to start. And let's see. Wishing you luck for that. I'm really proud of whatever you're doing. And this also shows what kind of personality you hold. So let's get back to the topic which we've come here to speak about personality. So, Chandan, what are your views about this topic? Please share it with the audience. All right. Personality. See, what it means to me is that it's not a 10-page meaning, or it's not like tons and tons of data which you get online. It's fundamentally very simple. What do others see about you? Who you are? Like, if they want to speak to, if they want to have a talk about something, if you are that person, then you are that specific personality which they are trying to associate you with. Well, that is personality, is what I can say. Very simply. Okay. And how does the personality affect the behavior of an individual according to you? Okay. Let me get the statement. People act. Every person acts in the way they want themselves to be perceived to be like. Especially, one famous quote says, dress the way you want to be like. Dress the way you want to present yourself. So, what you want to be is what you show. Exactly in this process of showing up, in this presentation process, is where you tend to act, you tend to behave like someone who you aren't really are. That is the real segment of personality. I could just say as an opening statement. Yeah. That's fine. That was a really good answer. Okay, so I have a situation where in our daily life, we have to keep changing our personalities according to the situations we face. If there is something which is very serious, we need to become all serious about it. And if there is something which is very, it's a cozy environment where we can have fun, we change our personalities accordingly. What do you think, do we get out of this? Is because when we keep changing our personalities, we learn different kinds of lessons. And is there some experience of yours which you would like to share with the audience where you have seen your personality change and develop into a better person? Okay. Are we talking about past personality development? Yes. Correct. Okay. Uh, Looking back 2 years ago, I have always been the CBSE kid. Like, okay, I'm gonna bring a little bit of stigma that has been present in
the state that we are in right now.
Sure.
Okay, a small snippet of the education system. Especially, there are multiple boards which govern education system in an area, in a regionality, but more specifically in an area, if 90% of the schools, like a very large number of schools, govern this. What do you call it? Yeah, the state board system. Until a specific point of time, I really oppose the thought behind it. Number one, the way why do we study is something which has been very wrongly perceived by the students. I'm not talking about every single person, but this is what I'm going to give, specifying a few people whom I'm going to give you in this example. I've been the CBSE kid, like over the last 10 years, I've been in CBSE until my class 10. And after that, the plus one and plus two. Because of some reasons, I got to join in a college that is good, especially when it comes to the place where I'm from. If it comes to a good college, it's never perceived as a real college. It's always about numbers. It's always about marks. It's always about banners. That's what has been perceived as something what is good. And well, I never knew what that actually is, and I got into it. It's not even about the college. Like almost like every single college is like that. Okay, I'm talking about plus one and plus two. The people that I got to come across, especially in my first year, which is also called as intermediate or the 11th class. There is this great TV show called by Bishwa. I'm not sure about its name. It starts something like Lakho Mein Ek, I guess. I'm not pretty sure about it. It's on Amazon Prime. That is what I've actually experienced in my first year. That's a very terrible situation where I have never seen people of such kind, both positive and negative. It's not about a milligram of exposure. It's a ton of exposure, which is way too much beyond your age to understand and engulf it, or at the end to digest it. Because I have come across people who did literally nothing. When I start to talk about people like such, I could literally make episodes out of every single person that I have come across. Okay, there is one institution. Dude, the people that I have come across are like out of my mind. I mean, like I have never seen people like such, both positively and negatively. When it comes to positivity, these are literally those people who can sit in one single spot for almost like 13 to 14 hours every day without getting their asses busted. It's not easy. Kudos to them. Like,
wow.
I mean, the creativity is completely dead. The idea of externality is completely dead. The idea of what subject means and what is the reason behind it is completely dead. These are the people that I've seen in my 11th and 12th. 12th is a completely different segment, especially my 11th has a ton of examples like such. Dude, literally, people used to come and they used to do nothing. And I wonder, how do they get this tranquility? That's exactly where my podcast name comes from. Because in extreme situations, these are the people who hold themselves down. Like, I be myself is what I learned a lot from them. Like, whatever happens, they don't care. It's just that one character they possess. But if we look at the flip side, people do possess multiple personalities, especially, until a specific point, this is pretty great, especially like if you're with your family and your close friends, you maintain that open, free, friendly corner of yours. But when you get into real work getting done, That's where you have to be a bit serious about. So this can be, I could just say that this can be a point or a phase of personality, but the way you develop it is all what is going to matter. Okay. Uh, one of those super amazing things that I have gone through, which really shaped me, I gotta say this, is a 7-day spirituality camp. That was during my class 9, where there are zero mobiles, there is zero point of contact with your parents, there is no one you could contact to other than the faculty over there. The main reason behind that campaign is to make your emotions to the far most possible, to stretch them to the extent where you can't stop yourself. And that is the moment. Okay, I'll tell you. Day one, this is way beyond, way before something I've experienced far from home for a point of time. Especially like this has been for like 9 days, I remember. It's about 1 week plus a few days. Uh, the first trip or the excursion from which happened in my school happened in my class 10. That was the first time I got to get away from home. I mean, in a positive manner, like in a very friendly and helpful manner, in a very refreshing manner for around 10 days. But this is way before than that. When I was in class 9, this is during the summer break after class 8. So during this time, there was this 9-day campaign where they won't give you the food which you like. They are not the ones who will let you roam around. It's something like a boarding school, but it's a school for spirituality. It's not a military school. It is a school for spirituality. The reason why I'm insisting upon the point of spirituality is that spirituality is that core element which really makes who you are. Spirituality doesn't mean you meditate for hours and hours together. It's just this process where you get to know yourself and your surroundings, the way you behave. As simple as that. Like maintaining yourself in those specific times where you are super unstable and you tend to jump around and you just start to shout over people. That is the moment where you need to keep yourself down. That's a kind of spirituality, I could say. Okay, I did give you a lot of data, I guess. I mean, we got to rationalize it.
That was a very beautiful talk which I had with you right now. And now I know where Chandan Perla comes from. I know the base. I can feel that foundation every single time you are explaining it to me. I understand how it is. So this obviously helped you in, shaping yourself into a better person, in
Yeah.
making you who
There are
you
many
are
reasons
today.
I mean, every single step that you might come across, I would say, uh, I would just ask a person to get into places where he never thought to, where he never thought. For especially until class 10, I never thought I would find a space in the business segment. Business was my second big interest, and until class 10, I never imagined that. Until class 11, I never imagined. But class 12 is where okay, if I'm not mentioned this, there is a lot of bullying that occurs in these so-called state board schools. They are like those furnaces which just keep just melting you over and over and over again. But at the end, it turned out very positive for me. Like in class 12th, I have been this person who really regulated literally most of the stuff at my college in a very positive and you could say a good proper consultant for every person, every student, but not a student leader, but nothing like that. It has been great. Like I always been this person who just walk up to someone and start a conversation out of random, rather just texting to a person. If you start to pick up the call and start having a conversation, that is where you get to come across multiple things that you have never thought about.
Yes.
That is where you get to come across not just 100 different things. that leads a person to dissect into multiple areas of conversation where the out of the box thinking starts to come into place. That's what I can say.
So this shows that you have a lot of inclination towards practical learning rather than the bookish learning.
Yeah, practical learning. Well, okay. There is this one specific example that I have come across in my class 6, 7, and 8. There is this science center in the city in Vijayawada, which is not really practical. I don't understand why do you call it a science center? It's got a name of a great scientist. From the place, the science center is being named after him. Let's not use the word for the time being. That is the place where until the 2 years I've been participating, I always had this perception that this is where you want to go. This is the award. This is the avenue where you want to see yourself to one day. But I'll tell you very simple. In order to put it very simply, until the point things are favorable to you, you never knew what is the reality. Once the thing starts to flip the other side, things start to happen in the way that you have not perceived, is when you're gonna come across things what they are actually like. After 2 years, I really got to know that this is a lot of a show business, rather a knowledge as a segment which a proper center has to look like. Okay, that is literally a place where a person has completely made a hearing aid, and there is another person of the same age, of literally the same age, who made a windmill. Okay, in order to specify his class, he is of class 10. One guy made a windmill, and the other guy made a real-time hearing aid. Kudos to that guy who made that hearing aid. He's been such an amazing person. But whom do people look at? This guy who is having this fan rolling around. And the reality is that he is not generating energy from the air. He is using a battery to rotate that. That's completely pointless though. Okay, who would have been in that situation? Like, is it the windmill guy or a hearing aid person? Like, the one who created that hearing aid, the practical one at a cost less than ₹1,000. Who do you think Riddhi would be?
If I could give the result, I would have given it to the hearing aid. But because I know how people are, I'm sure the windmill person.
No, it's not about the people. Like, we can't judge people based upon like one or two people, two persons specifically. It's that one elderly person. He is, something. The judges have been professors for a state board institution, for a government institution. If you okay, the results are as follows. Number 1, the first place goes to that guy who made a fake windmill, the thing that propels up for pointless stuff. And the one who made the hearing aid has got a participation certificate.
Okay, that's funny.
That's reality. That's when he got to know that, and that's when I got to see that this is how reality is. It's more of attractiveness rather reality. Okay, if you get the right proportion, between a show business and something really to see, that is the knowledge. If you have a collaboration between both of them, that is a proper unique selling product, and probably that's what gonna make you pay for it. That's what Netflix has been doing. Probably it's got great content, and it demands the price, which makes you go crazy about the content. Like Netflix, such a cool stuff. It's like that. So right from the point when I got to know the reality is when you start to uh, prioritize things. Prioritization is one of those most important things ever. You need to put yourself in those shoes where you want to see yourself and not in those which you feel irrelevant now. And it's just up to your instinct, like you know what is irrelevant and what is relevant. That's how you shape out your personality. Yeah.
Adding in a question here, because you spoke about what is irrelevant and relevant, it is usually seen that kids these days are forced to do something which their parents want them to do.
Okay.
We are forced by our parents. Arey, doctor hai, doctor ban ja. Look, have so much respect in the society. You will earn so much of money. And I think that is where, a child's mind is, forced to stop thinking. Even if that person has a creative idea in his mind or her mind, he or she cannot regulate it or cannot put it into action. So, what would be your suggestion to handle this kind of situation?
Okay. So I want to trace back into a super science theory called grandfather paradox. Okay. Just hold for a minute. You will understand the reason why I'm going to give you that. Imagine three people, the Trinity. That is the grandfather, that is the father, and then there is a child. Imagine the child going back in time, traveling back in time, and gonna kill the grandfather. Therefore, there is no chance for the father to take birth, and there is zero probability for the child to be born. Then whom do you think? Who do you think have killed the grandfather?
The future.
You get the point. Where the future has actually got back to the past and got that undone, but there is a significant change. Okay, that's a cycle, especially the similar cycle which we are in right now, not the killing part. The worst part is the education segment cycle. I'm really happy that my parents really understand and really support me in the things that I wanted to pursue, and I'm really thankful for them every single time. And the professors and people who really supported me, and not just that, those people who pushed me out of the limits and who just like thrusted every single time. Okay, I had this amazing quorum, the worst shit possible in my class 10. I never thought I would get into such a big thing, but he is one of those people. I was super bad behind those days, and today he is one of those super amazing friends of mine, because he is the one who really pushed your limits. Like people like such push your limits to the point where where you have restricted them to, where you run that extra 1 mile to drink that additional glass of tranquility of water. Well, um, coming to the grandfather paradox back again, where in this type of education system where parents have always seen, the education system has always made a person a right fit as has always made a child ready to work in a place rather to create a workplace, not like the physical furnituring workplace, the place where you could give an employment to millions of people rather you being in one of those million people. That is where practicality comes into the real ball game. So let's say the generation who have been parents right now, when would they have got this education? Like when would they have this education? Let's say their exposure time, it would be 2 decades ago or 3 decades ago, around 90s, 1990s or the early 2000s. I don't think people at 20 people at just 24 years would get kids. Okay, I mean it's okay. That's quite a debatable statement. Now that they might be graduated or they might have gone through education institutions in the early 80s. I mean late 80s or early 1990s, right?
Yes.
So during this time, the education system has been made subjected in the way that I just said before. Like the system has been made like a puzzle where, or you could say the game of Jenga, where every single brick goes into the place where it's supposed to be. If you remove one thing, everything is going to collapse. The thing what is going to collapse back then was Indian economic situation, because we were looking at development of the economy rather building up for a greater time being. That is where this reality over the last one and a half to 2 decades comes into the practical situation, where the idea of entrepreneurship gets coming into place, and where people are really understanding what is the real potential behind it. So why are the students of millennials, why are millennials being pushed, which they are not willing to do? Is that the parents belong to this Jenga brick region.
Makes a lot of sense. Yes.
It's a lot of pieces, like every single person has put himself in the way they perceived themselves to be. Like that's where personality comes again into the play, where if they perceived himself as a job taker, he would be a job taker. But a few people who perceive themselves as job makers, they are the real people whom you see on the front line of your pages. That's it.
Yes. That
well,
really
this is
was
transitioning
insightful.
to this is transitioning to practicality with the help of the National Education Policy 2020. So on is going great, buddy. It's going great. Bright future.
Glad that our next generation would be a part of it.
Maybe. I'm pretty jealous that we didn't get to experience stuff like such.
We didn't get to experience it, but then there is something I see in this generation. People have actually learned to move out of box. We are working towards something big. And I feel, 6 to 7 years from today, I'm somewhere confident that I will look at my friends, which also includes you and many of the others, at a really, probably the front line.
Yeah.
People will be the part of the front line. I'm really excited to see that, to see where all of these things take us. And I think we all have had that basic knowledge about personality, about psychology, about the human relations, and we are educating ourselves, breaking those borders which were built for us, and getting out. I'm really glad we're doing that.
Yeah. But there is an equivalently downside. I'm not like superiorly millennialistic. Okay. One question to every single who's gonna watch this. If you have that answer to this one question, which I have been I did find an answer, but I am looking for a really good answer. You could message me. You could just mail me anytime. Okay. My Instagram ID is Chandan_Perla, or my mail ID is ChandanPerla71.
I'll drop it in the description.
Yeah. So the question is as follows. Are we just that only generation who feel they are superiorly distinct by just talking about sexual behavior, by just talking about sex publicly makes you really great? I question, is that the only thing that really makes your parents, the previous generation who gave birth to you and your generation who is living right now, is that the only difference which you see as a generation gap? This is something which I have been working on over a very great point of time. Like I've been looking tons and tons of papers, like people just feel free to talk about sexuality. That's where this LGBTQ concept comes in. I really support it. Well, that's great. But is it just this one single line which really puts on this side of that line? I question. There are way many things associated with it. That's what I wanted to know from you.
I'll also answer this question because I somewhere had the same question, but few other different factors with it. I will also answer your question. I will also hope that the audience watching the video will answer this question. Okay. So now moving ahead to another question, which we want you to answer is
Okay.
that okay, so because you're also 19-year-old, just a
Yeah,
year
I'm 19.
elder to us. So I've also seen people at my age getting affected because of the peer group around them. It's
Okay.
usually seen that, smoking and drinking is cool, having a girlfriend is cool, having a boyfriend is
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
What is your view about this? And no, I want to know, how does it affect our life towards the career?
Okay.
Because we all indulge into this so-called cool stuff so much that we forget that we have a goal, that we have a life ahead to make, that we have to make an identity in the society and be helpful to the country. Your go
Yeah.
on this.
That's a cool question. That's a good one.
Thank you.
Well, things like such, especially the narcotics, have been perceived in a way make you a cool person. But are they really cool? Is what you need to prioritize based upon the personality that you hold, based upon the character that you want to make yourself visible like, make yourself present to be like. So that's exactly where the peer pressure of millennials has been a great thing. Uh, all right. Things like smoking and getting into relationships are of course like seen as something cool because because that has been made in a way to be seen as cool, especially the content that we have been consuming, especially to look at the TV shows that you that the people of our age have been watching while the time they've been growing up. The kind of content exposure that they've been getting, this is what shaped them, I would say. But peer pressure is always there, not just this decade, the previous, even like a century to or 2 centuries ago. There is always this peer pressure, there is always this FOMO, the fear of missing out factor. This is like an only X factor which is making a person do stuff which he doesn't really want to do, that which doesn't really want to put himself in those shoes. The fear of missing out is that amazing concept where if you okay, I'll tell you a very simple example. I've been to a stand-up comedy show like 3 4 years ago. That was my first stand-up comedy show. That is the first time. Literally there are no shows in Vijayawada. There is nothing like that back then. I traveled all the way from Vijayawada to Bangalore to just watch that one single show, and it ended up to be an adulterated show. I mean, it was not like too adulterated. Guys, don't worry. It's up to this point. Uh, I've traveled all this place to just look at a stand-up comedian who is giving a few statements, and people are laughing. And I've seen ton of people, especially my cousin who came along with me, Surya. He literally understood nothing. I can guarantee you that. Guarantee you that. But there was another cousin too, Venkat. He pretends like he did not understand. Maybe he did not understand. That's fine. Even though a person wouldn't understand, even me in some cases, you just tend to laugh out loud, though you didn't really get the joke, because you don't really wanna left back. You don't want that fear of missing out. That has been playing a greater role, especially for that. If you want to be yourself, if you want to contain or carry that bold personality, who you are, who you want to be, stay yourself. That's what I could say. Prioritize what you want, like not those OG cool stuff which you see, the low waistbands and the torn jeans. It's not about them. It's about the character that you have. It's about the social circles that you are in. It's not even about the circles, it's about who you are at a fundamental level.
Sometimes it is seen that, people in a certain age are way more matured than what other people at their age are. And they have a sight towards life. They know what they want. They know what they want to do. But then those people are really made feel so vulnerable. I've seen this kind of scenario happen where a person was quite mature for their age.
Okay.
Just because that person wasn't ready to, drink or smoke or do any so called cool stuff with the friends around,
Okay.
that person was kicked out of their own group
Ah.
because you don't fit in. And I was
Yeah, that
really
happens.
shocked when I looked at that person. Later on, I saw that that person is my friend. I don't want to take his name here.
Okay. No, it's not just about your friend. Every single one of us, every single viewer might know this person, or you might be that person probably. Of course, like, might be.
Yeah. So when I saw that person again come back, walk, and do the same things which he was still doing in his life, I just asked him one thing: doesn't it affect you? Don't you feel left out when you are in such a group? Don't you feel
Okay.
like you're way too mature for your age? He just told me one thing: see, Riddhi, if you want to do something in your life, you will have to break the barrier. You will have to step out. Initially, people won't understand what you're doing, but later on, they will surely reach that age where they will completely relate, completely understand, and maybe also regret that why didn't they make, successful use of their life? They wasted their time, is what they will feel later on.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, of course, like many things. Like, see, if you come across stuff like that, just see the social circle that you are in. As simple as that.
Great. So by this, I would also ask you to give us certain tips on developing a better personality, on how you would go ahead with. Okay, I want it to be your personal view. I want it to be from your own side. How
Okay.
would you develop your personality with all the competition which is existing in these days, with all the problems which people face, with all the barriers? Also, get it into a perspective where there are families which don't let their kids grow.
Yeah.
So I want you to answer this question for them also.
Okay. Okay. Coming up to the last point that you just mentioned, families don't allow their people to grow, because especially uh, again this again this thing of fear of missing out comes into the place where, okay, there are two ways in which you could look at the same scenario. Look from the child's side, or their son or a daughter's side. You see a ton of people aren't really supportive, they don't really want you to perceive in the way you want to be. Looking from the parent side, it's like they don't want you to get a risky path. They don't want you to go through that road not taken. They want you to go by the main street. Okay, during this point of time, every single person would just feel like Robert Frost just writing that poem, but not really. It's not about being positive every single time. There are greater chances for things to go wrong rather things to go great, until a point of time where you gain the real 360 degrees perspective of the thing which you are going to step in. This is what a person has actually needs to learn, and that's exactly where the success ratio for any startup, or generally startups, is pretty less, I would say. So that's exactly where I would just ask a person, if you want to get that exposure, don't really stick with a specific set of people. Don't really, I mean, I'm not like just leave your boyfriend or leave your family or run away, nothing like that. I just want you to experience stuff, not like nashe karo, do drugs, nothing like that. Why did I say this? Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. It's not just about people, dude. It's about everything that's around you. if you really think the way that you've chosen has got the greatest potential of all time for you, go for it. If you think your parents are not being supportive, plead them, ask them to help you, to support you. Even if after a great practice, if you think something is wrong, that is the point where you need to get back to the square 101 and start to do your work again. I would just ask you to think, hold yourself, hold your personality down before doing something unnatural. As simple as that. This might seem like an old uncle speaking, but not really.
It
As of
shouldn't
my
seem
experience
that
today.
way.
That's it.
It shouldn't seem that way. Exactly the whole point of making the video. When people our age can do this, why not the others? I want people to build that confidence in themselves. I'm 18, you're 19. We at this age have this kind of mentality is because we've opened ourselves. We've broken those barriers. And that's exactly what I expect from the audience also. Not exactly expect because it is not going to do any great to me. But then just look at yourself. You have a life, build it. The so called cool stuff, or getting affected with really small things is not gonna help. Try it. I'm not telling don't try. But then there is an insight to life that you need to have. I also wanted to ask this question to you, Chandran.
Sure.
At this age, let it be relationship breakup, let it
Okay.
be someone shouting at us, a friend betraying us, or any kind of situation, very small things affect us a lot, or we tend to make them affect us a lot. We pursue it or show it to people in a way that, oh my god, such a big thing happened to me, I'm not able to move on. It is serious in times, I won't say no, but then these things stop our growth when we let affect other people affect us, when we prioritize other people over us. They are indirectly stopping our growth because we fail to realize our own self-worth. So please educate the audience about how to start realizing their own self-worth.
Before you really getting to me, I want to make this clear that I'm just 19, and every single thing that I'm going to speak out is based out of hundreds of experiences that I come across and things like that. So if you come to the point of prioritizing things, stop keeping yourself at the top of anything else. Look at people, look at experiences, look at people experiencing the things that you might go, that you might come across in the future. Based upon that, you get the insights. This is way old and very simple consultant answering a very simple question. These are those common lines out of the books that I've read. But more importantly, there is way beyond. I mean, there is way beyond. Especially, imagine if there is something like really hit you, if that's something that has totally mutated your mind, feel great that you got to experience it. That dopamine shot at that early stage. That's great, actually. That's really pushes you way forward. Just look at things like such as something like a hurdle. At this point, I'm sounding like a motivational speaker. Not really. I don't want to do that. That's it, I could say.
Basically, Chandan is giving us a positive side to experiences. We all tend to take, experiences in a negative way. But what
Okay.
he's trying to tell us is to take that all in a positive way. To realize that if you're learning something at this age of your life, there is something big which is waiting for you people ahead. Is that it,
A
Chandan?
very simple statement. Yeah, a very simple statement following by, if you don't really get to experience stuff, okay, of course, everyone will get to experience stuff at the time they are supposed to be. And if you were unable to digest it, you need to crush it down, or else you'll be that soft kitty. Nothing.
That's really powerful and deep. I hope the audience will understand that. Okay, so by this, we come to an end of this session. Thank you so much for being here with us, Chandan. Thank you for sharing this beautiful experiences, insights, and ideas, ideologies, I must say, of yours with the audience. I hope this will help people of our age because this is morely, pointing towards them. You need to know things at this age. You need to
Yep.
learn. You need to understand. Thank you so much for being here, Chandan.
Thanks
And
for inviting, Rithi. Thanks a lot.
thank you.